005's command. Hello, Dr. Long here. Today we'll be going over SCP-054. Let's get right into it. SCP-054. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Subject is held in a watertight isolation room, outfitted with a specialized climate control equipment. An ornate fountain filled with water stands in the center of the enclosure. Maintenance personnel are required to wear NBC suits while inside the containment area and must spend 10 minutes in a special drying room after exiting. In the event of a breach, the surrounding area should be evacuated and the enclosure flushed with liquid nitrogen. The Foundation's chemical levels and volumes are to be monitored and maintained. Spring water from should be used as SCP-054 is highly sensitive to hydrological conditions. SCP-054 has developed a mistrust of human males during its confinement. Thus, assignments of female personnel is recommended. Description: out of the water, the subject most often appears as a female humanoid with a mean volume of 90 liters, comprised entirely of water. Other forms are possible, commonly geometric shapes. When it enters a body of water, it becomes indistinguishable from the surrounding. The subject must be periodically returned to a body of water in order to maintain its volume due to evaporation. Initially found in it has been moved to Site 8 for further study. Subject was initially curious about the Foundation personnel and seemed to enjoy interacting with maintenance staff and researchers and mimicking their forms. After a number of weeks, the creature apparently felt comfortable enough to remain out of the water during routine monitoring, though it retreated when attempts were made to study its composition. SCP-054 is apparently composed of normal water with no detectable differences compared to ordinary spring water from the same source. No thermal, electromagnetic, biological, or other phenomenon has ever been detected in its body that would suggest how it animates. Water lost by SCP-054 to evaporation exhibits no special properties when condensed. Experiments with SCP-054 were halted following data expunged. 2 researchers injured. After this incident, containment protocols were updated. Subject thereafter exhibits signs of mistrust and aggression around male personnel, which made up the majority of the original research staff. Subject reclassified Euclid. Partial transcript. Audio Journal 054-A. Water loss experiment. Subject becomes withdrawn and inactive when denied access to water. Its compact shape is theorized to reduce the surface area exposed through evaporation. For the first few days, it moved eagerly to greet anyone entering its enclosure and behaved excitedly, possibly indicating an understanding by the subject that we control its access to water supplies. Subject ceases this behavior yesterday, presumably in recognition that no help was forthcoming. Temperature extreme testing. We got authorization to attempt sub-zero testing this morning. The subject becomes lethargic as temperature fell and froze completely after blank. Spectroscopy of the ice crystals revealed no anomalies. Ice chips were collected for study. This is a stark contrast to its behavior in the 95-degree test, when it becomes aggressive and attempts to escape its enclosure. We've submitted a work order to combine the climate control equipment with the subject's standard enclosure, as it has begun to resist efforts to be transported to experimental chambers with increasingly desperate behavior. Memory and conditioning evaluation. Subject has proven unexpectedly adept at navigating complex mazes and solving puzzles. Dr. Sickle has finally overcome the problem of motivating the subject with the application of electrical shocks and/or silica desiccants. He joked that he should have it trained to fetch in no time, and after observing his methods, I think he might be right. Note, subject should be allowed 48-hour recuperation period. It seems to be lagging in its progress at the end of the week's experiments. Acid-base incorporation experiments. Last log entry. I'm starting with a 0.5 molar HCl solution. I have no idea what will happen, but this thing incorporates homeostatic mechanisms like I suspect. Then we should get some insight into how it maintains its form. Temperature in the enclosure has been lowered to 278 kelvins to help control 54's increasingly erratic behavior. Addendum 054-B. After 5 years with no incident, subject rating has been downgraded to safe on recommendation of Dr. Blank. Experiments will resume under the auspice of Biology Unit E7. Caution should still be exercised when interacting with subject. End of audio log. And here, guys, is why the Foundation should treat sentient SCPs better. They have the ability to decide whether or not they want to cooperate with us. And depending on the SCP, a lack of cooperation can be a deadly risk. Anyways, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you folks in the next one.